What's going on, people? CP3, live from the lab. Sports on the Hill podcast on True Radio Network. Week 11, Redskins, Jets. Redskins drop to 1-9, lose to the Jets, get doubled up by the Jets, 34-17. If you tuned into the pregame, which I know most of you probably didn't because I had technical difficulties, it really was an ugly game for the Redskins from the break. I spoke about how tough the Jets defense was. We saw that today. I didn't know that only the 3 victories they have are all over 3 NFC East teams, which is crazy. But this team came out looking like they weren't prepared. They had this extra time with the bye week in order to prepare for this team that was 2-7. You know, one of the worst teams in the league. They got their quarterback back. They've been playing better since he's been, back in the game. But the defense, blown assignments, missed assignments, bad coverages, missed tackles, not getting home. There were some holding going on, grabbing jerseys that the refs weren't calling. You saw the one play where they got the guy that was holding Ioannidis by his jersey, but they were doing that all game. And you can clearly see it, but they didn't call it. But it seemed like they were trying to find any and every penalty to slow the Redskins down. But I'm not even going to go there because the Redskins played bad. The referees, was just adding more to it. The offense, now, like they were talking about something to build off of for Haskins, that those 2 scores in the fourth quarter was nice drives or whatever, but 9 out of 10 he's going to be prevent defense. He did look more comfortable. You saw him audibling and changing up things at the line, which is a good sign. So I'm not going to look at it as a negative light. I'm going to look at it as hopefully this will be the beginning of him starting to make these improvements in his game. Hopefully it doesn't have to get to a 34-3 game or 34-11 game for him to start to click. Derrius Guice had an impressive screen run for a touchdown that broke the 16-quarter streak of this offense not scoring a touchdown, which was very impressive. It was a nice run. He was aggressive. He was strong. He made a hell of a move at the 5, not to get denied, to get into the end zone, to set the man up so he can make that juke move. Only thing that sucked about the play is I picked him up in fantasy football and forgot to put him on as my flex this week. Looked like I'm taking a bad loss because I left him on the bench because, I'm up by a little bit, but the other guy has other guys going. So, but we'll talk about fantasy football another time. Fantasy football problems, man, drains you. Let's look at some of these stats, these team stats. Hold fast. I didn't get a chance to write them down because I didn't really feel like writing them down because it wasn't worth writing down. Redskins, 15 first downs, 6 for 16 on third down conversion, which is better than normal for them. 0 for 1 on fourth downs. He had a total of 54 yards rushing. Mentioned how strong the Jets' rush defense was. They only give up 81 yards a game, which is second in the league, and they only gave up 54 today. Once the offense started clicking, the Redskins couldn't really afford to stick to the running game because they were so stout and stopping them, and that's when you're getting the 3 and outs and giving the Jets the ball back. So it was like a catch-22. But you got to make those adjustments sooner in the game. That if you see it's not working, you got to make a change immediately, not at half when the game is already 16, 15, whatever points down they were. It's just growing pains. Like I tweeted out, this is what you get when you fire a useless coach and you're in rebuild mode. You get some ugly play on the field, but you got young guys getting experience and learning on the fly. You saw how they pulled out Dunbar and Norman and had Moreland and what's the other guy's name? I can't remember his name. Had the other 2 guys at the corners. So the only way they're going to get better is by getting out there and getting experience. So it is what it is. They had a total of 170 yards passing, total yards 222, 224, 6 sacks, which is bad. One interception, 6 punts. Tressway, shout out to the team MVP, taking one for the team for that roughing the kicker to extend the drive and get the first down for us so the team could get that score. 3 fumbles, none of them lost. Time of possession, Jets 32 minutes 19 seconds. Redskins 27 minutes and 41 seconds. Now the Jets offense, which we talked about, was pretty bad. They put up 34 points. Rushed for over 100 yards, 115 yards, 285 yards passing, 400 yards total. They only gave up 2 sacks, 1 interception thrown, 4 punts, 2 fumbles, 1 loss, and Jets win the game 34-17. Now, there are a lot of storylines in this game. I was actually taking notes per quarter, but it just got redundant. I mean, like I say, the penalty calls, the misplays, the miscommunications, the blown coverages. I mean, you're coming off a bye week, and they look like they weren't prepared for anything. They didn't know what they were doing. They didn't belong on the field at some points. The Jets were getting wide open plays. Had a tight end have his first 100-yard game of his career. I don't even know who he is. I don't think anyone does. But he had a hell of a game against the Redskins today because of blown coverages, miscommunications. Some of it you have to attribute to the Jets' offense. Adam Guice is an offensive guy, even though he's not probably the best head coach, but he's definitely an offensive-minded coordinator / coach. And he had a good play designs. Le'Veon Bell is an X factor. They had Bilal Powell. They had 3 or 4 different running backs in the mix, helping to keep the chains moving, giving Darno safety blankets, hitting underneath, running the ball, screens, lined up in a couple of different formations. They were very creative on offense to try to buy him time and give different looks to the defense so the front wouldn't be able to sack him as much as they should have or would have or could have. But we can't talk about woulda, shoulda, couldas because it doesn't mean anything because we know the final score. We know what was what. We know this team has dropped to 1-9. Defensively, I have no idea what's going on out there. Manusky, I'm not sure what he's calling, but it's not working. We had misplays. We saw a couple of times that they pointed out on that touchdown. Josh Norman not playing his role, not doing his job. Took his eyes off of his man wide open in the back of the end zone, even though he tried to recover. It was too late. That split second, that's all it takes. It's all about doing your job. Moreau on that play that had him and Moreland, no communication, stutter step, boom, touchdown. That's all it takes. Simple as that. I'm going to check out some of the folks that's streaming in on the live feed. Appreciate it. Debbie said, cannot believe we lost to the Jets. Yeah, I mean, the Jets have a quality defense. And you got a quarterback that's, was drafted high, last year or the year before. He was out. That's what got them off of their rocky start. And they have pieces. They got Demaryius Thomas, got Jamison Crowder, Le'Veon Bell. Their defense is stout. Like they said, they're 3-0 against NFC East teams. That I don't know what that means, but it means something. So I don't know. But appreciate the comment, Debbie. I don't know what to say. Yeah, it was the Jets. We might be prepared for a 1-15 season, people. At least it's not 0-16. That's all I can say. But it's definitely not pretty out there right now. This team is looking. I was looking for improvement, progress throughout the bye week and beyond. And the first thing we saw on the bye week was not good at all. I got the Philly-New England game on. Philly up 3-0 with 10 minutes and 17 seconds left in the first. And I got the Cincinnati Raiders game on. That's 0-0 with 5:46 left. And you got the 49ers and Cardinals game on right now. And Garoppolo just hit a nice over-the-shoulder pass. But they switched back to the Oakland-Cincinnati game, 4th and 6. Cincinnati's going for it. They haven't won a game yet, so they have nothing to lose. The Redskins won one game. They had nothing to lose, so why not? But getting back to this team, it's definitely some growing pains dealing with this team at this point. Guice can't overshadow him with the negative. Definitely his first game, first start at FedEx Field. It was good to see him get out there. You know, AP was doing trying to get it started. They bought in bought in Guice, and he definitely, got it going. I like his style. It's like I said earlier, can he stay healthy? That's the biggest question. And he has a tough running style, so durability is definitely going to be a key with him going forward in his career. We'll go ahead and go over some of the personal stats. Haskins was 19 for 35, 214 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. I mentioned the 4 sacks. Uh, yeah, holding the ball too long. I guess he's waiting for stuff to develop, but that's what you get when you get a working progress quarterback. He only had 14 starts in college, so he's far from a finished project. So this is what you get. That's why you see them putting him out there now in the lost season. And only way he can improve is to go out there and experience it. Unfortunately, we thought the old coach was going to do that, early in the season, but he hadn't found his way to do that come week 5, 6, and that's why he's no longer here. Well, one of the reasons why he's no longer here. Adrian Peterson had 9 carries for 25 yards. Guice had 7 carries for 24 yards. Haskins had 4 carries for 5 yards. If you don't count the sacks, that negates all of that. McLaurin had 3 receptions for 69 yards. Had that one big one that was negated on a penalty. It was a 60-yard game, which sucked because I had him on my fantasy. I started him and benched Stephon Diggs because Diggs had 2 bad weeks. And then Diggs goes out and have a 100-yard game and a touchdown. It is fantasy football part. That's just why I stopped playing because it gets you so wrapped up in it. Jeremy Sprinkle, 2 catches, 16 yards. He had a nice touchdown catch on a low throw by Haskins. And we talked about Guice and his 45-yard screenplay for his first career touchdown and his first career first career game at FedEx Field. So that's some of the good. Let's see. Tressway, 6 punts, 317 yards punting, 52-yard average, 60-yard long, 2 of them inside the 20. I mean, team MVP, man. That's all I got to say. Bostic had a decent game, 4 tackles. He had that nice interception on the scramble play that definitely could have swung momentum in the game if the offense could have scored a touchdown. I believe they got 3 off of it. Landon Collins, he had a decent game. He got a couple of blown assignments that wasn't due to him, but because the person he was back there working with didn't do their job, so he got exposed on that play. Deron Payne, he's been having a solid season. He got another pass deflected, had 4 tackles. Kerrigan had 2 sacks in the game. Could have had more, but Darno is very elusive in the pocket. He has very good pocket presence for a young guy. Monte Nicholson, who's going through some personal stuff again, got to start, had 3 tackles, 2 assists. Matty Unitas, they highlighted him. He was in there working. He's one of the guys that when they drafted, I remember, going to look at film and did his grade and report card. They said that he had, good physical attributes, great strength. He was just lacking technique. And with the combination of Jim Tom Sula coming in, one of the best D-line coaches in the league, you see the product and you see the results and you see why the Redskins extended his contract because he's definitely doing his job in the middle. Jonathan Allen had 2 tackles. He had a decent game. I would like to see more push from him, but as you saw when they diagrammed through the game, they were double teaming him. So that's just how it goes when you're a talent like that and the other folks aren't stepping up or aren't making plays. The ones that are, or the ones that they look out for, are the ones they're going to double team and try to take out of the game so they don't lose to them or be the reason for the loss. Better way to say it. Let's go over some of the first half of this games this week. The Ravens. I took the Ravens. I thought this was going to be a closer game, but the Ravens put it on the Texans 41-7. Atlanta, which I correctly picked before the game, but didn't pick him. I pick them. Beat the Cardinals pretty bad. I mean, the Panthers pretty bad, 29-3. The Cowboys had a little tough battle with Detroit. Matthew Stafford-less Detroit, but they won the game 35-27. The Colts, who I believe I did not take, defeated Jacksonville 33-13. Buffalo beat Miami 37-20. Denver squandered a 20-point lead, and Minnesota and Kirk Cousins came back to defeat the Broncos 27-23 at home. So that was still an under 500 team, but the Vikings did their thing and came back, and the Saints put up 30. They had the same score, ironically, and did 34-17 over the Buccaneers for their 8th victory of the season. And currently, Cincinnati is up on the Raiders 7-0, and the Eagles are up 3-0 over the Patriots. First quarter, still clock ticking. So let's see. Robbie can share the link. Let's see. FedEx, what's up? DC's people chant. Said it was Meadowlands, saw a whole bunch of Jets fans. Well, yeah, I mean, StubHub, you already got Redskins fans talking about their boycotting the game because of whatever reasons, whatever. And the chickens are cheap. New York ain't that far. Jersey ain't that far away. Jump on a train, be down here, party, tailgate. Why not? Hey, that's what happens when you have a bad team and you have fans that's, some fans that are fed up with the product. That's your right to boycott. It is what it is. But, I mean, the team still got to go out there and play and do a better job. When they start winning, fans will come back. It's just simple the way it is. We see what Baltimore's doing up the road, with Lamar Jackson and, playing defense, offense, special teams, and, contention to be, in talk for Super Bowl. So they have a quality organization, always has. Hopefully the Redskins are on their way to try to get a quality organization where they can scout and properly get these players to do what needs to be done in the right scheme with the right coaches and the right personnel. But got to crawl before we walk. We got 2 touchdowns in the quarter after they didn't get 1 for 16. So let's just hang the hat on that for right now and look at that as the silver lining, I guess, to this 34-17 whipping that that's the only way I can describe it, because the Jets dominated this game. And pretty much every quarter and pretty much fourth quarter, Skins put up 14, but as I said, there was more prevent defense because the game was pretty much over. Let's see. Oh, make sure you tune in tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, Sports on the Hill Podcast, True Radio Network. Make sure you go head down Martini's. Unfortunately, I'm not able to go down today. I'm in the house having some car issues, but go down Martini's for the NFL game day. I'm sure they're in there pumping now. Got the good food, the cold beer, the $5 drink specials down 725 Katy Drive in Fort Washington. Check all your games out. They got the second half games on and have the 8 o'clock game on, and they'll be there tomorrow night for the Monday night football game, and then back down there for Thursday night. So NFL game day, whenever NFL games are on, make sure you check out, Martini's. Wish I could have been down there. I was on my way. Car started acting funny. Better safe than sorry. I had to come back home. But it is what it is. At least I'm not sitting in that FedEx Field traffic right now, leaving. And that's why it's cool as a Jets fan, because now they're stuck in traffic. They're happy for the win, but they're stuck in traffic. So it is what it is. You got to take the victories where you can get it. And looked like a sack by the Patriots. It was 2nd and 1. And then there's a flag on top of it. Let's see what the flag is going to be. There's pretty much not much more to say. We'll talk more about it tomorrow night on Sports on the Hill Podcast on True Radio Network starting at 7. We'll start out with the Capitals Weekend Review. They've been hot, still the, best team in the league. Took a bad loss this week. We're going to talk about what happened in that game. And then they bounced back nicely in a back-to-back last night, defeating Boston, which they won 8 in a row in Boston, which, they still had domination pretty over there. I think they had like 16-1 in the last 17 games against Boston. So It's Capitals playing pretty well. We'll talk some Wizards. I'm not sure what they've been doing, but we'll get the NBA roundtable talking NBA and some Wizards, and have a music break around 8 o'clock. And probably have Dujanay from Sports Journey, Redskins writer, inside the NFL insider, also talking Redskins and looking forward to next week's game. Let's see who is on the schedule for next week. That's a good question. And that is the Lions we were just talking about. They lost to Dallas today. Lions have a potent offense, but they're without Stafford, so hopefully that helps the Redskins. And we'll definitely talk about that game and break down this game, get his take on the whole situation of Haskins getting his start. How did he think he did? I think he had I give him a C minus. I can't give him higher than that. I was thinking D, but D had 2 touchdowns late, so I give him a C minus. Guice running hard. He might be more of a factor going down the line, going down to the end of the season, to get him, some experience on the field. Get his legs, under him. Not gonna be no playoffs, but he missed the first 10 weeks. So let's get him some go, see what he can do, see if he can stay healthy these last 6 games, excuse me, and see what type of improvement we can get from Haskins, because we saw, better things in the second half. Well, in the fourth quarter, we saw better things. So all we can do is hope, wait and see, and either continue to ride for the team, or, if you can't do it no more, you got to roll. Don't have a problem with that. And to me, it's a non-factor. I'm going to be a Redskins fan no matter what. Win, lose, draw, good, bad, sorry, great. It's just, I'm a fan. I'm a journalist. I talk sports. And I don't think it's as bad as everybody else seemed today. Yeah, that was bad. But unfortunately, to get to the good times, you got to go through the bad sometimes. I know it's been a long list of bad, but all we can do is just see what happens. We got better talent. We got youth. Got an up-and-coming offensive coordinator. Got a defense that has all the ingredients on paper. Just have to find a way to put it together on the field. And maybe it's time for a new defensive coordinator, I mentioned how Tom Sula and Minuski are basically tied together. My question is, if they get rid of Minuski, would Tom Sula want the head defensive coordinator job? And if not, would he stick around? Questions that would be answered later on. But the defense definitely has a lot of growing to do, and is nowhere near where we thought they would be at this point in the season, execution-wise, game-changing play-wise, turnover-wise, sack-wise. Granted, beginning of the season, offense wasn't effective. So that's putting more pressure on the defense and putting them on the field more, which makes it harder for you to get those, game-changing plays, because you're winded because you're always on the field and you don't get a chance to make those plays. When normally teams make those plays, is because the guys are fresh and they're getting, rest, and they're seeing things and they're making plays. Just like with Bostic when he made the play on the interception. Not saying that they were fresh and he was first in the game, but the team, moved the ball, punted. They came out. When we saw something, he recognized it. Boom, he made a move, made it happen. That's pretty much what football is. Instinct, seeing things, trusting your eyes, trusting your study, and executing. And that's what this team has to do more of. But like I said, I don't want to harp on a dead horse. We 1-9. Basically, it's countdown to vacation time for the team. You see the score. You see the stats for Haskins, for Guice, and for McLaurin. We like to bring you all the insight, bring you all the news, know-how, knowledge, whatever we can, how soon we can. Wish I was down in Martinis. Hope y'all down there having a good time. I'ma holler back at y'all. Appreciate y'all checking me out. Tune in tomorrow night. 7 o'clock, True Radio Network, Sports on the Hill podcast, Capitals, Wizards, Redskins. Who else knows what else we might talk about? Might even talk some Colin Kaepernick. I don't normally discuss politics on the show, but I might get into some of this posturing that's going on both sides. So, I might not. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. But CP3, live from the lab. Y'all check out the second round of games. Hope y'all be easy, be safe. See y'all tomorrow night. Talk to you tomorrow night. Appreciate the birthday wishes once again. I'm still getting them coming in now. Appreciate it. Appreciate the love and support. Like our stuff, share our stuff, let folks know it's real DC sports out here. It's not a game. CP3, live from the lab, and I'm out.